The chandeliers at the Newport Yacht Club drip with a light so old it seems golden, scattering fractured diamonds across teak tables that have seen more bad deals than good sunsets. I watch a fleck of sea salt drift through my mother's cloud of expensive perfume as I follow the host to what he calls the Morgan table. His smile has that specific pity reserved for people about to be executed over lobster bisque. My father, Kevin, checks his watch before my chair even touches the floor. The third time in less than a minute. My mother, Lisa, adjusts a diamond bracelet with the practiced ease of someone who uses jewelry as armor. My sister, Olivia, angles her iPhone with a filmmaker's precision, her lawyerly smile sharp enough to cut glass. Everyone in their place. Everyone playing their part in the little drama they've rehearsed. Jessica. Lisa's voice has that warm, brittle quality she uses when she's about to break something. You look? Well, I'm wearing the same simple black dress I wore to last year's Christmas party. She hated it then. 2. I sit in the offered chair. The one facing all three of them, like I'm at a parole hearing. The leather groans. A distant foghorn sounds. Normal noises in a profoundly abnormal moment. Lisa slides a slim envelope across the table. The kind used for invitations or dismissals. Her fingers leave it perfectly centered between the bread plate and the wine glass. A severance check. Darling, she says. We think it's for the best. Kevin places his hand on top of it. A gesture of finality. $10,000. Jessica, use it wisely. The check is already signed. Already dated. They printed it before I even got here. Olivia shifts her phone, capturing my reaction in the golden light. She's been waiting for this. I recognize the performance. The synchronized cruelty. They've been planning this for months. And I'm supposed to break right on cue. Their world, built on inherited wealth and dwindling portfolios. I couldn't understand mine. My work in biotech, in predictive AI, was a language they refused to learn. It was volatile. New. It threatened the carefully curated stagnation of their legacy. They weren't just cutting me off. They were trying to cauterize a wound to their own fragile identity. I let the silence hang in the air. Let them think they've won. Thank you. My voice is steady. Calm. I will. Olivia's disappointment is a flicker in her eyes. No tears for her video. I fold the check once, deliberately, and slip it into my purse. They don't know about the wire transfer. $12 million. Confirmed this morning. Protean AI. My little science project was just acquired. They just exiled the wealthiest person at this table. 16 months before the severance check. I stood in a fluorescent-lit incubator at MIT. The air smelling of stale coffee and ozone. Dr. Marcus Thorne, a man whose critiques could dismantle entire careers, stared at my whiteboard. My algorithm for predicting protein folding was scrawled across it in 4 different colors of marker. Miss Morgan, he said, his voice dry as chalk dust. Your premise is statistically impossible. He tapped a dense block of equations with his pen. Nature doesn't follow such neat probabilistic rules. It's chaotic. The hum of the servers was the only sound. I'd expected questions. Challenges. Not outright dismissal. The chaos is the point. I tried to explain. The algorithm doesn't predict a single outcome. It maps the cascading probabilities. It learns. He slid my proposal back across the metal table. 3 months of work. Reduced to a stack of paper. This is a fascinating theory, he said. Which, in his world, was a death sentence. Bring me undeniable proof. Bring me data from a system so complex, it couldn't possibly be a fluke. Investors want results, not theories. I heard a version of those words my entire life. From Kevin, when I chose molecular biology over finance. From Lisa, when I spent holidays in the lab instead of at charity luncheons. From Olivia, who called my research my expensive hobby. But Dr. Thorne wasn't family. He didn't have a stake in my failure, which meant he was probably right. That afternoon, Joshua Chen found me staring at my whiteboard, looking for the flaw Thorne had seen so clearly. Josh was my first hire. A brilliant coder who saw the beauty in the math that everyone else found baffling. He looked from my face to the equations. He's wrong. Josh said. Not with bravado, but with the quiet certainty of a believer. He's just seeing the storm, not the weather system that creates it. Let's build the weather station. That was the moment my chosen family began. Just the two of us, against a statistically impossible problem. We spent the next 6 months in that lab, fueled by cheap takeout and a shared refusal to accept defeat. Every line of code, every failed simulation, was documented, timestamped it, backed up. We were building our proof, one data point at a time, creating the language that would one day make the impossible seem inevitable. I was blocked, stuck. Dr. Thorne's dismissal echoed in my head every time I ran a simulation, and the results came back as elegant. Useless noise. The algorithm was broken. Maybe he was right. Maybe it really was impossible. One evening, I left the lab, walking along the Charles River as the sun set, turning the Boston skyline into a silhouette. That's when I saw them. A flock of starlings. A murmuration. Twisting and turning over the water. It was chaos. A swirling, unpredictable mass of thousands of birds. But it wasn't random. Each bird was only following a few simple rules, reacting to its immediate neighbors. And from those simple, local rules, an impossibly complex, beautiful pattern emerged. That was it. The eureka moment. It wasn't a single, grand equation. My algorithm was trying to predict the entire flock. It needed to learn the rules of the single bird. I ran back to the lab. Josh was asleep on the worn-out couch. I didn't wake him. I just started coding. The new algorithm wasn't about predicting a final protein shape. It was about understanding the cascading series of choices each amino acid made, influenced by its neighbors. It wasn't chaos. It was a conversation. 2 weeks later, we had our first successful simulation. Then 10. Then 100. The data was undeniable. That data secured us a vital grant from the National Science Foundation. I called home, excited to share the news. My mother answered, "Oh, that's lovely, dear," she said, her voice distant. "Listen, Olivia just made partner at her firm. Can you believe it? The youngest in its history. The grant was just another piece of static, lost in the broadcast of my sister's success. But I had the proof. I scheduled a meeting with Dr. Thorne. I didn't say a word. I just opened my laptop and ran the live simulation. He watched for 5 full minutes. His skepticism melting into something I'd never seen on his face before, awe. He looked from the screen to me. "You did it," he whispered. He picked up his phone. "I'm making a call. There are some people who need to see this." Immediately, that was my first real victory. It wasn't the grant money. It was the look in his eyes. It was the validation that paved the road for everything that came next, including the $12 million acquisition they still knew nothing about. I'm in my new office in Seattle, the one with a view of Puget Sound. When the news breaks, it's not in some obscure scientific journal. It's a headline in a major business publication. Bold and undeniable. Biotech giant acquires Protein AI in landmark $12 million deal. My photo is right there. The one Thorne made me take, where I look more confident than I felt. My phone, sitting on the polished desk, begins to vibrate. It doesn't stop for the next hour. Back in Newport, I imagine the shockwave hitting their brunch table, their carefully constructed narrative of Jessica the failure evaporating in the time it takes to read a headline. The shock must have morphed into rage, then into a disparity, grasping greed. The messages start as a trickle, then become a flood. The first is from Kevin. A text. "Jessica, a terrible misunderstanding. We need to talk immediately." Misunderstanding. His word for a meticulously planned execution. The next is from Lisa. A voicemail. Her voice thick with manufactured pride. "Darling, I saw the news. I am bursting. We simply must celebrate. I'll arrange a dinner at the club. You can tell us everything. She wants to claim my success, to wear it like a new piece of jewelry." Then, Olivia. An email. Because of course it's an email. Subject, urgent family matter. "Jess, this is incredible. But you're going to be overwhelmed. You need proper counsel to manage this. As your sister, I can protect you. Protect me. She means control me. She means get her cut. I watch the messages pile up. A digital monument to their hypocrisy. I don't answer a single one. Joshua comes into my office holding 2 cups of coffee. He gestures to the whiteboard. Covered in plans for our new research division? Ready to build phase 2, he asks. His smile genuine. Dr. Thorne is flying in this afternoon. My chosen family is here. My real life is here. I silence my phone, letting their frantic apologies and sudden pride go unanswered. I pick up a marker and turn to the whiteboard. The work is what matters. The future is what matters. Their frantic noise is just a ghost from a life I've already left behind. They're 3,000 miles away, trying to rewrite a history that I'm no longer a part of. Ignoring them doesn't work. When the pleas and fake apologies fail, the attack begins. It's coordinated. A 3-front war. A demand letter arrives via my lawyer's office. Sent from a top-tier Newport firm. They've twisted the $10,000 severance check. It's no longer a parting gift. It's now seed funding. A strategic investment that, by their calculations, entitles them to a 40% stake in my company. $4.8 million. At the same time, Kevin starts his assault. He makes quiet calls to his contacts in finance, raising concerns about my lack of business acumen, my instability. He's poisoning the well, trying to damage my reputation within the company that just bought mine. Lisa works her network, whispering to board members and investors she knows through her charity circles. She paints a picture of a troubled, ungrateful daughter, hinting that this family dispute speaks to a deeper instability. A risk. Olivia, meanwhile, prepares the legal assault, feeding information to legal blogs, framing this as a story of a brilliant but naive founder being taken advantage of by a corporation. A narrative where she can swoop in as the savior. The pressure is immense. A tightening net of legal threats and reputational damage. Milavir calls me, his voice grim. They're trying to create enough noise to force a settlement. Jessica, they'll drag your name through the mud. At the peak of this, as I'm feeling the walls close in, the criminal twist is revealed. My lawyer calls me back an hour later. His voice has changed. Jessica, he says, I found something. We were doing a routine digital discovery, and an old email server picked up a message. It's from your father. To Olivia. He takes a breath. It's dated 1 week times, before times the dinner at the yacht club. He reads it to me. It's a step-by-step plan. The public severance. The $10,000 check. Described as just enough to be insulting but deniable. The plan to document my emotional reaction. The entire premeditated scheme. Laid out in black and white. It wasn't just opportunism after the fact. It was a premeditated conspiracy to disown me and humiliate me. The letter wasn't a reaction to my success. It was the plan all along. Just with bigger numbers. And they documented it. A court battle would take years. It would be a war of attrition. Exactly what they want. They want to bleed me dry in legal fees. To tarnish my name, in depositions. They taught me to play their game. To document everything. To be meticulous. But they never imagined I'd use those lessons against them. Not in a courtroom. But in the court of public opinion. I don't have my lawyer send a response. I don't engage their threats. Instead, I execute a final. Devastatingly precise, power flip. I forward the email. The one from Kevin to Olivia. Outlining their premeditated plan. I send it to 2 places. A Pulitzer-winning journalist, known for exposing corporate malfeasance, and a widely respected legal ethics publication. I attach no comment. The email speaks for itself. The story doesn't just break, it detonates. It goes viral within hours. The narrative isn't about a family financial dispute anymore. It's about a conspiracy. About malicious intent. The fallout is catastrophic and immediate. Kevin's investment firm launches an internal ethics investigation. His partners are furious. His name is toxic. Olivia is quietly asked to take an indefinite leave of absence from her law firm. Her ambition has become a liability. Lisa's name is removed from the benefit committee of her favorite charity. The social exile she engineered for me has boomeranged with brutal efficiency. Their legacy, the one they committed fraud to protect, is now a smoking crater of public shame. The resolution finds me not in a courtroom, but in my Seattle office, watching the snow fall over the Sound. I am at peace. The first wire transfer I make from my new account isn't for a house or a car. It's a donation to MIT, establishing a new scholarship, the Protean Fund, for brilliant innovators from unsupportive families. My chosen family is thriving. Joshua is leading a team of 20. Dr. Thorne has joined our advisory board. We're building things they can't even imagine, let alone try to steal. The final scene isn't one of revenge, but of freedom. I'm at a whiteboard with my team, sketching out the future. A future I built, not despite them, but because of them. They handed me a severance check. But what they really gave me was my entire life.